Wild Talents, by Charles Hoyfort, Chapter 3K. There is a continuity of all things that makes classifications fictions. But all human knowledge depends upon arrangements. Then all books, scientific, theological, philosophical, are only literary. In Scotland, in the month of September, 1903, there was an occurrence that can as reasonably be considered a case of mass psychology, as can be some of the foregoing instances. But now we are emerging into data that seem to be of physical attacks. There will be more emerging. One can't, unless one be hopelessly, if not brutally, a scientist or a logician, tied to any classification. The story is told in the Daily Messenger, Paris, September 13, 1903. In a coal mine, near Coatbridge, Scotland, miners came upon the bodies of 3 men. There was no coal gas. There was no sign of violence of any kind. 2 of these men were dead, but one of them revived. He could tell, enlighteningly, no more than could any other survivor in the stories of this group. He told that his name was Robert Bell, and that, with his 2 cousins, he had been walking in the mine, when he felt what he described as a shock. No disturbance had been felt by anyone else in the mine. Though other parts of this mine were lighted by electricity, there was not a wire in this part. There was, at this point, a deadly discharge of an unknown force, just when, by coincidence, 3 men happened to be passing, or something more purposeful is suggested, down in a dark coal mine, and there is a seeming of the converse between mysterious attacks and surroundings. Now I have a story of a similar occurrence at a point that was one of this earth's most crowded thoroughfares. See the New York Herald, January 23, 1909. John Harding, who was the head of a department in John Wanamaker's store, was crossing 5th Avenue, at 33rd Street, when he felt a stinging sensation upon his chest. There was no sign of a missile of any kind. Then he saw, nearby, a man, who was rubbing his arm, looking around angrily. The other man told Harding that something unseen had struck him. If this occurrence had been late at night, and if only 2 persons were crossing 5th Avenue, at 33rd Street, and if a force of intensity enough to kill had struck them, the explanation upon the finding of the bodies would probably be that 2 men had, by coincidence, died in one place, of heart failure. At any rate, see back to the case of the bodies on benches of the Harlem Park. No reporter of the finding of these bodies questioned the explanation that 2 men, sitting near each other, had died, virtually simultaneously, of heart failure, by coincidence. We emerge from seeming attacks upon more than one person at a time, into seeming definitely directed attacks upon single persons.